Good morning. Welcome to this roller class on Zoom, and it will be available afterwards on my YouTube channel, Inward Mobility, Susan Norton, Inward Mobility. So all you'll need today is your low density foam roller and your mat and plenty of space for your arms and legs. Oh, and water. So let's get started.
Come on, Lola.
All right, so we're going to begin by just doing a little gliding from side to side. And make your shoulders very heavy so that the shoulder blades can slide over the roller, getting into those muscles in the back, upper back. And also noticing if one shoulder slides more easily than the other.
Do yoga, Bryony.
All right, so come back to center, and we're going to do a couple of angel, I call it the angel series. The first move I call Charlie's Angels. So bring your feet up a little bit closer to your hips and take your feet fairly wide so you have a good platform there for your body. Lift your arms up and assume the Farrah Fawcett stance from Charlie's Angels. And we're just gonna keep the spine all going the same way from the shoulders down to the hips. And if you've got your feet wide enough, you may be able to really come over almost to the edge of the scap and the edge of the pelvis. So the more you do this move, the more you'll notice that you'll get more rolling. Sometimes you fall off, it's okay. 3. Like if you're doing this tape, you're later, you can play around with this and fall off and get back on a few times. But you can really get right over to the edge of your side. Whoops, see, there we go. I'm going, there you go, back and back. All right, so let's come back to center and then drop the arms down for a moment. Make sure your spine is well aligned. Again, you can lengthen out your legs a little bit more. We're gonna make some snow angels. So I start with my palms down, and then you're going to slide your arms up as far as they want to go and take them down, so dragging them across the surface. So inhale them up, relax the collarbones, exhale them down. Do 2 more with the palms down. Inhale them up. Exhale them down. We got 1. Last one, inhale them up. Exhale them down. And then we're going to turn the palms up facing the ceiling. We'll do 4 this direction. So inhale up. You may get greater range of motion with your palms up. Exhale them down. Inhale them up. Exhale them down. Inhale. Last one. Inhale. Really spread those collarbones. Hold them up at the top and reach up. Stretch out the spine. Tilt the pelvis so that the tummy is pressing into the roller. And release. Pause for a moment on the roller. And then roll off to the side. Take the roller out from underneath you and just come down onto the surface for a moment and check in and do our what we call rest assess, noticing how your upper body is landing on the surface. Take a few breaths. Notice your hips, how they're landing on the surface. Because we're going to switch over now to do some lower body movements. So place your roller onto your side beside you. I'm going to place mine to my right side here. It's going to come over and come up to seated. I'm going to sip some water, try to do this continually through the practice. You can take your roller and you're going to turn your body so you're facing the long side of the mat. Place that roller underneath. I'm going to roll down a little bit and then put it right underneath your rib and above your hip, sort of at your waistline. So your lower arm is parallel with the roller. Your lower leg, you're going to straighten it out and bend it behind you and then bring your upper leg in front of you. Get comfortable here. Ooh, already rolled a few times here today. This is a strong roll. So we're going to roll and twist forward and then twist back. Exhale forward. Inhale back. 2 more times. Exhale forward. Inhale back. Exhale forward. Curl down a little bit onto the ribs. Inhale back. And then we're going to move that roller. And the reason I scooted down, because we're going to be rolling sort of up that way. So I want it to be down far enough so that I don't roll off my mat. So if you're up high towards the top end of your mat, come back down towards the lower end and then lift that hip up onto the roller. And take the bottom leg and straighten it out. Shoulders in line with the hip. And you're going to come down on that forearm again. So that if you roll up and down, you should feel that indentation where the femur bone goes into the hip. And just go back and forth a few times on that, feeling all those attachments up there at the top of the leg. And we're going to start rolling on the TFL, that big long tendon. So you're going to roll slowly. You can feel that big ligament. You roll onto it and roll down a little bit and then pause for a moment and let your body get very heavy on the roller and you can really feel that. Take some breaths. This can get quite strong. So today, I know when I don't roll on this very often, this can be a very strong movement. So just be very careful. Roll down a few more times, let the body get heavy. Start to feel that tendon soften just a bit. You may feel it in your whole leg. Move your hand up a little bit, roll down. And you can roll all the way down slowly to just above the knee, should you choose. If it gets to be too much, go back up to where it's comfortable. I'm going to pause here. Really start feeling that in the muscles of the quads. Whoop, I found the spot. Oops, I don't know if I can go much further. Just lift yourself up a little bit. Roll, relax. I'm going to roll down one more bit. Breathe. And then slowly roll back up to the start. Now, hopefully, if you do this with some regularity, you get to be so that it may be you already are there, but it will get to be so it's not quite so strong movement. Okay, so we're going to come down off the roller for a moment. Put it beside you. Lie down on your mat with your knees bent and place that roller right underneath your butt. Up into a bridge pose and just drop it under the sacrum. I think we did this one last week. And then lengthen out your legs, stretching out the front of the quads. Make some breaths here. It's one of my favorite stretches. Just take a few more breaths here. Try to let everything soften and relax. And then on an inhale, you're going to bring those legs back in, lift up, take the roller out, and come down and do another rest assess on your back. And notice how that right hip or whatever hip you were rolling, see if it feels a little bit different, maybe a little smoother or flatter than the one we haven't done yet. All right, we're going to get ready to do the other side now. So you're going to bend your knees and come up. I'm just going to turn around and try to get into the class. Roll that other rib and hip. So you're going to bring that roller down between your rib cage and your hip. Drop your arm down, lower leg is bent behind you, upper leg is in front. Keep that shoulder in line with your ear and elbow. And then slowly curl forward and back. Don't roll so far back as you get on your kidneys. Roll forward. Exhale. Inhale back. Last one. Forward. And back. And then we're going to come up and sit on that roller on your hip. Get down a little further on my mat here so I can roll up. Bottom leg is straight, top leg is in front. You want to do some side planks, Eileen? No? Okay. But eventually we will be. Okay. So we're going to roll back and forth a little bit on that. Feel it making that connection in the where the hip meets. Get on that TFL and then begin to slowly start rolling. Pause on the ligament to let it soften. Yeah, this is a very strong roll. This is probably, I would say, the strongest roll. Once you master this one, you've got everything. You've ironed it all out. And again, don't force it. If it gets to be painful, you definitely want to stop. But with a little work, yeah, this leg is a little bit tighter. Ooh. You know, Tom Brady does this every day, guys.
Oh, good. That and throws a Lombardi trophy.
I probably didn't do it yesterday after his tequila avocado. Okay. Take a few breaths. You can make it all the way down to your knees. Keep going. I'm going to roll back up slowly.
No.
And then roll off it. And we're going to do that flexor roll again. So you put that roller underneath your legs, come back down onto the mat. Come up onto the roller on the sacrum and lengthen out the legs. You may notice this time you feel a little bit softer here because we've really moved some of that dense connective tissue. Nice deep breaths. One more breath. Exhale. Bring your feet in, lift up, take that roller out, and again, lengthen out your legs for a rest assess here. And what I particularly always notice when I've done a rest assess after rolling the shoulder area and then the hip, that my hips really feel flatter against the mat. We hold a lot of tension in our hips and thighs. And one more area that we're going to roll next. So it's good to just check in and see how rolling does help soften, relax. All right, so we're going to get ready for our next roll. So make your way up. Just seated for a minute and grab a little bit more water. And we're going to come down on the belly. So place the roller beside you, probably from your ankle to your hip. That's where you want it to be located before you roll over onto your belly. And just take a moment here, come up onto your elbows and feel that slight back bend. We're going to be needing to keep up on our elbows here. Notice your hip points into the mat, sinking both into the mat. And then you're going to roll over onto your arm that's not by the roller. Bring that roller, lift up that leg that's by the roller and stick the roller right underneath the middle of your thigh. And then you're going to come back down so you're facing the mat. So this time your hip that's not near the roller will still be into the mat, but your other hip will be raised slightly, but you want to imagine that it's sinking down into the mat. So you don't want to be up like this unless it's very, very painful. You want to try to keep the sacrum heading down towards the mat. So your muscles of your inner thigh are now heavy on the mat, and you may feel sensation here. So we're going to roll it a little bit. Breathing. And then you're going to stop the roll and you're going to take that heel and you're going to lift the heel up and rotate the front of the thigh on top of the roller. Breathing. I'm going to drop the foot down. You're going to snug that roller right up into the very top of that inner thigh muscle. And settle that other hip point down into the mat. Relax the leg. Feel the muscle making a connection with the roller. You're going to roll right in there, right at that top attachment. Breathe. And then pause. You can feel that hip point really being heavily dragged down towards the mat as you lift and lower that heel again. And then drop the leg down. I'm going to roll that roller right down to right by your knee, just above your knee, where that muscle wraps around on the meniscus and everything. No, you're not quite down. You're right around where that muscle wraps around the top of the knee. And just let the foot and leg be heavy. Have the hips pointing down towards the mat. And then just roll a little bit up and down that spot. Breathe. And then again, we'll lift and lower the lower leg. Bring that heel up closer to the ceiling. And then I'm just going to roll in and out a little bit. You don't have to, but I just like the feeling of it. Take a breath and then just slide that roller out. Just pause for a moment, come right down onto your forearms and just feel the hips heavy. So we're going to do it all over again on the other side. We're going to take that, come up onto your elbows, slide your other leg out a little bit so you can lean over to the side and put the roller under it right in the middle of the thigh. And notice if there's a difference again on this side, if that hip's up a little higher, you doesn't want to drag down, or if it's lower and more in line with the mat beneath it. Just stay here for a moment, feel the sensation. And then just roll a little bit across the muscle there, or up and down the muscle. And then we're going to lift the lower leg up. Ooh. Drop it down. Pause. Bring that roller in closer to the groin. Relax the leg there. Roll it. This movement can be awkward the first couple of times you do it. You'll get your own rhythm. What I noticed about rolling, I've been rolling now for about 4 or 5 years. First, it was very awkward and getting the roller in position. And then after a while, you get into a rhythm of working with your arms and legs and brain. And then you're going to lift up that lower leg again and roll it up and down. And also you'll make up little moves of your own. The more you do this, you'll say, oh, I just did something. I really like that. And you'll find little rolls that you enjoy that feel very good. Soften and stop again. And then the last one is we're going to take that roller down by the knee. This time you may feel your hip by the roller is getting a little bit softer towards the mat. Pause here for a minute and then gently roll. And then lift up that heel. And I'm going to roll in and out. Release the roller. Come back down onto your forearms, on your belly. Just feel how those hips sink into the mat. Nice deep breaths. So we prepare for our next pose. We're going to have to get on the hands and knees, but we're only going to be on the knees for a moment. Put that roller right in front of you. And if you have bad knees, you can put a blanket here under your knees. But the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to put the hands in front of the roller and then curl the toes towards the roller and press into those toes. And feel that stretch in the metatarsals and just feel that stretch. Push with the hands. And then we're gonna bring our knees right up onto the roller. Don't go right on your knees, but right on the shins where the bones are, the tibia and the fibula. And we're just gonna start rolling down the shin. Such a nice stretch for the fronts of the legs. I'm gonna come down a little bit because I can't really quite get the extension on my roller. Come down a little bit further here. So I like to roll all the way down to my ankles, right to the very tops of my feet. And get a stretch in the front of the ankle. It's a good stretch. Much easier to do after you roll the shins too and the legs. Let's get a really great stretch in the front of the ankle. One more breath. Roll back. And if you want, you can take a wide knee stance here. Just come down into a child pose for a minute. Stretching out the whole spine. Slowly come up. You can come over and come up to a seated position again. Shins are very happy. We have one more set of rolls today. We're going to be doing, I mentioned Tom Brady. This is something I learned from the TB12 method. So you can leave your roller across the mat and come here, just leave it under your legs for a moment and just come down onto the mat with your knees bent. I'm going to do a few practice bridge poses before we do the rolling poses. So you're going to walk your hands away from your ears, tuck that tailbone. We're just going to do 3 slow bridge poses with a roller underneath the legs. So we're just going to inhale, lift up slowly into a bridge. And then just to slowly curl back down, chest, waist, hips. It's just to wake up the hams a little bit. So we'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, roll up. Curl down. Last one, inhale, roll up. Curl down. Take a pause here for a moment. Grab the edges of your rollers. And then we're gonna just holding onto the roller, just put your feet on the roller. So that your arches, and then your toe pads, not right on the heels, but right in the middle, but more up towards the toe pads. You're on the roller, and we're gonna do 3 bridges on the roller. So keeping the legs straight ahead. This is a nice one. If you had a block, you could put a block in there. That'll keep your thighs in good alignment. You don't have to do it now, but if you had a block or a pillow, you could do that. We're going to inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. If that doesn't wake up the hamstrings. Okay, inhale up. Exhale down. And then pause for a moment. Just rest your calves on the on the block. One more pose with a roller today. Just take a little breath here, feel sensations. You're doing a little bit of work in the morning, yin yoga or sun salutations or rolling is great. It's like having a little conversation with the rest of you, besides just monkey mind chatter in your brain. Just have that conversation with the rest of your body, how it's doing for the day. Maybe noticing some places will want a little extra love for the day. All right, so last pose, we're gonna take the feet and open up into a butterfly with your soles together on the roller. Now let's make some butterfly moves. We did open up the inner and outer thighs a little bit. So you can make some butterfly moves. You can open or as much as you want for this pose, or you can be a little bit more a half folded wings butterfly. So we're going to do butterfly bridge poses here. So again, you want to lengthen your arms, tuck your chin, and then curl up and curl down. Aren't you glad you rolled your inner thighs here? Curl up. Curl down. Last one, inhale up. Let's hold this. 1, 2, 3. Curl down. Draw those knees back up. Lengthen them out on the roller. And relax. So to integrate this practice, we're just going to stay here. I'm going to put the roller under my knees. Just going to take a few breaths here to allow the body to settle in and absorb the benefits of this. And again, keep drinking plenty of water even after, especially if there's parts of you that you've rolled that haven't had a lot of stretching lately. Two more breaths. And then roll over onto your side. Make your way up to seated. Thank you. And how was that for everybody? Was it okay?
Good, good, good.
All right, next week we're going to do a couple of the same moves, and we'll introduce 2 or 3 different moves so we can start building a routine that works for you. So have a great day and a great week, and stay safe. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, Brian.
Good girl.
We're done, Brian. Brian! Brian! Okay, Brian, that's enough.
Did he have fun at yoga?
She sang.
She gets a good rub down.